Okay, we are going to remove and reattach a Cabbage Patch Kid's head. It sounds daunting. It is not. This little lady needs a little bit more stuffing. She's a little bit floppy. Her new mommy wants a bit more construction here in the middle. So we're going to take it off. We're going to put some stuffing in her, and we're going to put it back on. Now, they're not held on with any kind of wacky system. It's literally a zip tie. On the side of her head is a zip tie. We're going to cut it off. That's what the X-Acto knife is for. There is a trick to taking off zip ties. I don't know what it is, and I stink at it. So, if you know the trick, more power to you. Otherwise, X-Acto knives are your friend. But be careful, because you want a very sharp one. You don't want to cut the fabric, and you don't want to cut their head. Cut away from their head. Be very slow and careful, and just cut through until it's let's go. There we go. It's gone through, and then you just pull it out. One head, one body, one old zip tie. Please make sure to close your X-Acto knife so that you don't hurt yourself. Okay, heads off. Now, the heads are very interesting. On the heads, you can actually find, generally, the factory of the doll somewhere. Generally on the rim is the factory of the doll, but this one is not here. They have different plugs. Some are easy to take out, some are not. I do not recommend that you take the plug out unless you have to. Some of them are glued in, which makes taking them out horrific. If you do have to take it out, soak it in really, really hot boiling water so that the plastic becomes malleable and you can get it out easily. The only time I would recommend taking the head off is if there's something in the head that you need to take out of it. For instance, I found a pencil in one where a kid had shoved it through the pacifier hole. Otherwise, I don't recommend that you take out the plug. The kids actually have a ridge where the zip tie came out of, and that's what we're going to use to put it back in. The bodies are literally just full of stuffing. Big surprise. We're going to add a little bit more so that this one's not quite so floppy. There's no rules to how this goes. You just stuff it in the way you want to. So we're going to put it in around her waist because that's where she's floppy. And she's been kind of squishy. And you're going to have to move it around so that it doesn't look lumpy. And once you put the stuffing in, you can move it around even after you put the head back on. It'll move around as you play with it and wash it. And the whole point of this one is to make it, just looks like she's got really big waist and no hips. Okay. No, a little too much up front there. Maybe some at the back. Give her a little, don't want to give her any back rolls, but okay. Better? Alright, didn't take that much. And you can just buy this stuff at Walmart or any kind of fabric design store. Alright, now that it looks great. Now the other reason you might want to take the head off is to replace limbs. I find if a limb has come off, it's easier to re-sew them from the inside. You don't see as much. Some people will take them off even to do side seams or other things. But generally, and very occasionally, you'll find something with something inside the doll, but otherwise, there's really no reason to take them off. Just a note, do not take off a talking kid's head. They have a lot of mechanisms inside. They are connected. The same with a growing-haired kid. If you're taking a growing-haired kid apart, you actually have to take the shoulders apart, and the head and the mechanism that the hair goes into is connected. So you cannot take apart a growing haired kid the same way you take apart a regular kid. Okay, moving on. I bought these at the dollar store. For those of you in the States, you probably have the same sort of thing. This was at Dollarama. I use thin about 1/4 inch ties. I'm not too fussed about the ones that I buy. Some people are. Some people want specific width, some want specific length, some want certain heads on them. If you're buying it for a kid that you're planning to keep for forever and ever and ever, you might want to buy a high-end one so that the plastic doesn't yellow. Good luck with that. Zip tie goes into the channel that the other one came out of. Now, the question is, did I put this in here right? Because I got a 50-50 chance I got it backwards. So, put it in. Oh, I got it. Good. Okay. So pull it a little bit, not tight, tight, tight. Then you're going to put the head back on so that the zip tie is in the channel. Got to kind of hold it in there. Pull it tight. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. The zip tie is typically at sort of the side of the head. Alright, now before you tighten it down, you got to make sure that the head is facing forward. Trust me, I've done that before. Do a finish tightening. There we go. Alright, how should it look? You good? Alright, so obviously this is not the last step. There's a little bit more to it. The majority of the zip tie comes off with a pair of scissors. Doesn't matter how close you get it, you can leave some on there. Because the magic tool, ta-da, nail clippers. No, my nails are fine. So are hers. We're going to use these to take off the leftover bit that we left right at the quick. You can go right down to the quick so that there's nothing there. There's nothing there that can hurt a child who might be playing with it. It becomes completely smooth. And that is your newly stuffed kid. Now, keep in mind you can also use this to transfer a head. So, for instance, if we didn't like her body, if it was damaged and we liked her head, we could switch the head to another body. Having said that, please keep in mind that if you are going to do that, if you modify a kid in any way and you plan to sell them, you do need to disclose that you've made that change. You do need to disclose that it's not their original body or it's not their original head. It's not fair to keep that information from your buyer. However, it is done, it is easy to do, and she's ready for her new mommy.